We will not go quietly into the night, will we? 3rd of February, we've got 2 days left. It looks like City are after another signing. It broke, of course, last night about Nico Gonzalez, the Porto player, not Portuguese player, Spanish player, currently playing at Porto, a DM, or number 8, a midfielder either way, 23 years old, that has a release clause of around 60 million euros, and we could be only bidding 40 million. We'll get into that very soon. Guys, please give the video a like if you are new to the channel. Please consider subscribing. It'd be massively appreciated. Of course, we're only 2 days away from the transfer, slamming short the transfer window. It'd be nice to get a few more subscribers in before the transfer news is finished. That'd be very good. So give the video a like. And if you've been enjoying all the transfer videos I've been doing on a daily basis, do please put some positive love in the comments. It does honestly help support the channel. And it means the world to me. It really does. So thank you very much, guys. 141 people like it. Let's get the likes up. So the latest bit of news today is that apparently City want to get this done for a bit cheaper than his release clause, which is interesting. So let me go find it. Let's go find the Fabrizio Romano's got on it. By the way, it's very obvious to me that Fabrizio Romano is chatting to his agent here, which is Jorge Mendes. I think Mendes is his agent, and that to me tells you the story that you need to know there. Anyway, so Fabrizio tweeted, more on Nico Gonzalez, a Man City exclusive story. Contacts are ongoing today between City, Porto and the agent of Nico, which is Jorge Mendes. City want to negotiate the transfer over 40 million euros, but not triggering the 60 million euro clause at this stage. No issues on permanent terms. Now, the catch here is that they got a 40% sellback clause to Barcelona, which is, that's a substantial amount. One second, my mother's ringing me. Let me just tell her I'm on a work call. Not work call, video. I am doing a video right now, Mum. Bye. I have to embarrass her a little bit. She's probably watching back of that. Not embarrassed, she's the best mum in the world. But anyway, Nicola is, never mum. Oh, they both are. So they got a 40% buyback allegedly. So look, a sell-on clause even. So I think they only paid something like 8 million for him. If it was just 40 million euros, that's about 32 million quid. They'd get and 40% of 8 between to 32. Look, they're getting 10, 15 million max from that. So it's not a lot of money at all. So that's the point what I'm making there. It's barely anything. 40% is an absurdly small amount of money that they get back. Well, it's not nothing, but it's not good. I also saw someone saying, Manchester Iconic, if you're watching, mate, it says Barca have a 30 million buyback clause until June 2025, which is why City are apparently hoping to negotiate down to 60 million. I've asked for the source of that, and they said it's on. This was Fabrizio Romano said it when he signed for Porto in the first place. They've got a 30 million buyback, only valid until June 2025. So City are saying right now, you could get less money for this guy if Barcelona come back in for him than try and sell him at a higher clause. So I understand the logic there. The one thing I would say is that this is Jorge Mendes. Jorge Mendes rules Portugal. Jorge Mendes rules his players, and he knows exactly how to get what he wants if he wants it, Jorge Mendes, because he is in the pockets of these clubs. And they're in his pocket too. So they basically get access to all these young talent and make lots of money because Jorge Mendes is a super agent and he gets to pull the strings every now and then. I don't think City are trying this if they haven't been told by the agent that it's possible. I don't know, we'll probably just go to 60 million in the end, but I think Jorge Mendes has said, no, I can get this down a little bit if you do this for me, blah, blah, blah. If you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. This is how they work. Nico's father and Pep are mates apparently as well. They've gone golf together. So this is a very cushy potential transfer here for Man City in terms of the agent loves Man City, wants to get a deal done. The player's dad is a friend of Guardiola, allegedly. They want to get the deal done. There is stuff obviously at play here that we do not know about. So if it doesn't feel normal, it's probably because it isn't normal. So when you got City bidding allegedly around 40 million euros, but not triggering the 60 million, you wonder what could happen. Well, they still owe us money, don't they, Barcelona, for Ferran Torres? Could we sort of negate that somehow? I don't know. Who knows? His dad, I don't know who his dad is, but there is a lot of people saying that Cheeky and Pep, no, his dad. So is his dad an ex-footballer? Let's Google it. Nico Gonzalez, Porto. Let's have a look. Is his dad an ex-footballer? What does Wikipedia say? Do 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 do. Why have I got? Oh, la la la. Yes, Fran Gonzalez. That's why. Oh, I remember Fran Gonzalez. Yeah, I remember his name. So his dad literally played for Spain with Guardiola. They played each other a long time. So there we go. His dad was a coach at Man City. I don't think was he? No, his dad is a very decorated Spanish footballer. So they absolutely know it. Yeah, there we go. So there we go. That's his dad there. He would have played in the Deportivo La Coruña. That's an old Championship manager reference, that, the way I said that. So there we go. So basically, it looks like they know each other. They know each other because they just... yeah, so there we go. So his dad knows Pep because he's of the same generation. Okay, he played 550 times for Deportivo La Coruña, one of the best sides in Spain at the time. His dad was in Pep's. Okay, he was a coach at the City Academy. Well, there we go, man. So that the connections are very good there. So I do think there's something in this potentially that City know what they're doing. Oh, I love that super chat, by the way. Where's it gone from? Sal says Steve is a legend, eh? Stay humble, eh? I love it, mate. Thank you so much. I don't know. I won't go as far as that, but I depends who you ask. You ask Ruben, my son, he probably would say I'm a legend. Maybe the wife would too. I'll take that. And Sal says it as well, so I'll take it very much. Thank you very much, mate. Now, I think there's something in this. I know it seems frustrating, but I think there's something in this. Look, I wouldn't be surprised. Look, 60 million euros is 50 million quid. 40 million euros will be about 32 million pounds. I wouldn't be surprised if they end up being... what is it? Is it definitely 40 euros? 40 euros is 33 million pounds. Okay. So 33 million pounds. Okay, so 33 million quid is 40 euros. So I wonder if they go to say like 50 million euros, which would be about 40 million quid. At that point, it's not. I know, and they paid 8 million euros for him, which is about 5 million. That's 35 million difference there. That would be. It'd be 45 million difference. No, it'd be 35 million difference, and then 40% of that would be what? 15, 13 million. There'd still be a 25 million-ish profit on that. So there's potentially. There's essentially something in it in terms of like City being able to work a deal here. I think this is Jorge Mendes. I just think he is. He's spinning something here. He has like plate spinning, doesn't he? And don't forget, if Barcelona could come back and just pay 30 million release clause as well. Look. So Beasley said, if we pay 60 million bars to get 24 million, even if they have a 30 million buyback, they have to sell the 50. I don't even know, mate. I'm lost here. Phil, thank you so much as well for the super chat. Who says, thanks for putting in the extra Saturday night shift, bro, and for all the updates to your transfer window. It's my pleasure. I actually really enjoyed this transfer window. It's been good fun. I feel like we've been on a journey of discovery together here, so it's been good fun watching these players learn. Thank you so much, mate. That's very, very generous and massively appreciated. Really appreciated. Hugely. Very kind of you. Yeah, doing God's work on and off the pitch. I try my best. And also social experiment with the super chat as well. No, nothing attached to that, mate, but thank you so much. I look out for your comments. Yeah, and family's good. I want this guy, by the way. So, look, I knew his name. I didn't. I was like, who's Nico Gonzalez? Is he any good or not? Then I realised I did know his name because we've seen him around football quite a fair bit. I've done the thing that everyone does. I'm very honest. You guys, my math is confusing me too, mate. I'm very honest. If I don't know a lot about a player, I'll tell you. I know a lot of names because I'm online a lot. I watch Foot City and I hear people talk about players. I did realise I knew who this guy was, but I haven't watched him play. I've not watched Porto because I don't watch the Portuguese league. But I've done the thing that I always do. Like I'm a pretty quick learner. That's the one thing about me is that. And I know it's just clips online, but I can get a feel for things reasonably quickly. So I've definitely done research tonight and to see where, last night as well, to see where he's at. And today I had 2 hours in a bus today, an hour going to Manchester and now back. So I watched some videos of him then as well. And one thing I do, must admit, is like, I like it. I like what he can do. I think he's a very talented footballer, very clearly. Now, social experiment there with the super chat. Thank you very much. Also asked the question, is he a CDM? He's one of those... He's more like, I would say, Someone compared him to Declan Rice, and I actually see that. Like a guy is can play as a 6, but more of an 8, gets forward as well. Not more of an 8, somewhere in between the two. He looks to me, look, he's very Rodri-esque. Not as good as Rodri, obviously. He looks like a little bit of Kovacic to his game, but looks a little bit more defensive-minded than Kovacic. He's got a little bit of Declan Rice in his physicality. There's somewhere between Declan Rice, Kovacic, and Rodri. That's where I'm sitting when I see him. He's got a very obvious hunger to go forward, but he's also reasonably good defensively. He doesn't mind to get back, from what I can tell. He looks a bit like a 6 and an 8. He's definitely not a full-on 6 or 8. Just very complete, really. Put it this way: if it was 1999 or 2004, he'd be playing in the middle in a 4-4-2, and he'd be just a complete midfielder. And that's what you'd get. You'd get a guy who can defend, a guy who can go forward. Just an old-fashioned complete midfielder. Everyone's got to be a 6 or an 8 or a 10 these days. 8 implies a bit more attacking than he is. He just looks like a complete midfielder. That would be, a central midfielder, basically. So I think he looks very talented. Is he the perfect, perfect signing for us? I don't really know. Is he technically very good? Yes. That's the one thing I demanded. I wanted a guy who looked too comfortable on the ball. And he's from La Masia, so La Masia trained players tend to know what they're doing. So, yeah. He obviously has the technical ability. By the way, 500 people watching, 90 likes. Come on, guys. We can do better than that. We can do better. Come on. But yeah, I wanted a guy who had the technical abilities because I'm bored of watching us look uncomfortable on the ball. We've got to be able to pass it. Brooks with a super chat as well. Everyone's been very kind tonight. Thank you so much. Says, cheers update, Stephen. Let's get it done. You are indeed a legend. I don't know about that, but I'll take it. If you want you guys want to throw out the word legend, I'll take it. I'll take the L. But yeah, very much appreciated. So yeah, I do rate this guy. I think he looks like a really good footballer. Based off what I've seen, there are some people who suggest maybe he hasn't got the legs for it. He's a little bit slow potentially. Some people suggest that he's not complete yet. He's probably not the most defensive minded that you could ever get. I get that, but the most important thing for me is buying players that can potentially have that lovely balance of technical control while also physicality and being able to run. He's not the fastest guy in the world, but he can run because he's 23 years old, and he can run all day probably because he's 23 years old. That's what I'm saying. We don't need physical geniuses. We just need people that can run because they are young. That's the issue with Gundogan and De Bruyne. They can't run all day because they're not young. It's not that they're not fast. It's just they can't keep it up. They don't have the stamina and they don't have the sharpness anymore. Like Bernardo Silva has never been fast, but that man can run because he's a Duracell bunny. He can go and go and go and go. So this guy to me looks a little bit like a Rodri clone. I've never watched it, Alec Johnson. And no, I don't. Big Steve don't really talk about that, mate. So probably very unlikely. But he looks like a very good player. Do you think it'll get done? Once again, when I see this news, look, I'll do that thing where I write the facts down. So, his agent is Jorge Mendes. Known for spinning deals or for arranging deals, His dad is mates with Pep and Cheeky. These are the facts here. Worked at City. Barca have a buyback of 30 million euros. I'm trying to paint the picture here. So these are the facts for you, Joran. If they want it until June 2025, so Barca can buy it back for 30 million euros. Barca also gets 40% of any sell-on fee. So that's the deal there. His release clause is 60 million euros, which is 50 million sterling. So basically, they are the facts there. So what you've got is, I think it's amazing that City are even negotiating here. I don't think City is stupid. If they're negotiating, it's for a reason. I think they're negotiating because his agent is Jorge Mendes. Jorge Mendes essentially makes an awful lot of money for Man City, his clients, and Porto. Jorge Mendes will say to Porto, if you let this guy go for that amount of money, I will get you this guy for this amount of money, and I will come to you, my clients, blah, 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 etc. Jorge Mendes is very good at getting what he wants. He absolutely does that. Football agents do this. I know for a fact. They will pull favours with clubs if it means they get the payday right now. If Man City have gone to Jorge and say, we're not going to pay 60 million euros, this is how much we've got, what can you do? He will go, I can do this or not. The fact that his dad is mates with Pep and Cheeky, worked at City, I think City know what they're doing here. I have a feeling they've got a plan. The only catch here is obviously that Porto have sold a few players. City have been very obviously publicly desperate for a DM. Guardiola's coming out and saying that we just haven't got legs these days. Everyone's better than us. We're not exactly hit our desperation, put it that way, which doesn't put us in a strong position. We've also spent like 30 million quid on two separate centre-backs in Kusanov and Vitor Hayes. Two very unknown players, if we're being honest, relatively speaking. And then also 60 million on a striker from the Bundesliga. We can't come in and pretend to have the poverty card out here. Like, they got every reason to demand more than what we paid for Kusanov or Vitor Hayes. Absolutely. So they could easily demand more than that. So I think what likely will happen is that I think City will go in for 40 million, and I think that it might happen at around 50 million euros, which would be about, 42 million quid or something like that. I think that might happen. We negotiate a little bit, we get a few million quid off or something like that. Maybe we add some bonuses. I think City will get this done. I think they know what they're doing here. To me, it screams Jorge Mendes special. I could be wrong, but I feel like he's in the weeds. He's doing his thing. Jorge Mendes is that man. He rules. He rules football. People like him, they just rule football because they have the most important, precious commodity in the world. They have the players, and the agents are the powerful ones there always. So, and every club wants Jorge Mendes on their side. Man City do. Porto do. Porto in particular, because Jorge Mendes has the Portuguese clients. So, and I think also, by the way, the fact that Romano is reporting this suggests to me that Romano is probably speaking to the agent once again. This is out publicly for a reason. It's not a coincidence that it's come out by Romano. So, look, he looks like a very good player. I don't know how good he's going to be at Man City, but I do know he looks better or more suited to the task at hand currently than Gundogan, Kovacic and Bernardo. And let's be honest, man. He looks like someone we need right now. He just does. I don't know if he would be great, but either way, we're going to need some players. There is very obvious Rodri similarities. I'm not saying he's Rodri, but you can see how alongside Rodri, he could learn a fair bit. He's got the Rodri diagonal passes. He's got the Rodri similar pace to Rodri, similar height to Rodri. He has a hunger to go forward. Defensively, Rodri looks much better for what it's worth. He's like a young version of Rodri who's not quite as polished yet. You got to bear in mind, Rodri was not who he was when he first joined at Man City. He got much better. So, Mohamed said he was a 6 at Barcelona and an 8 at Porto. He apparently was the heir to Busquets. Yeah, they wanted to use him as the heir to Busquets, but Xavi didn't want to drop Busquets, so he left at a decent age. I don't know about Cambiasso at this point, by the way. Cambiasso, I'd be amazed. But yeah, I think Gonzalez will do obviously a better job than Gundogan these days. For one, he's got physicality, and that actually matters. Did you see Stefan's tweet? Are cash available for a release clause? I did not, mate. I'm going to have a look. What Stefan said. Yeah, that's interesting. Stefan said, suppose it's possible... what's going on here, man? Oops, this is the wrong size. So suppose it's possible that City are actually not in a position to transact on the release clause, timing and available cash, etc. So actually need to do a deal with Porto's agreement, even if higher than the release clause. I get the logic behind that. What he's saying there is that we might not have... Because if you do a release clause, you can't do it in installments. You got to hit it. You got to hit the release clause straight away. And it's very possible City can we can't pay you 50 million right now, which is the 60 million. We might have to do a deal where we work out on this and that and whatever. It's very possible. I don't know if that's the case here. I think that's sort of slightly reaching, but it's possible. we'll see how it goes, man. Like, either way, look, this has been the most absurd January transfer window I've ever seen. This season in general, like, I don't know how you feel, but like, I think it's because I'm quite a little bit older than maybe some of you guys or whatever, been watching for a long time, and maybe I'm distracted by my son and all that kind of stuff. But I was just switched off from this season in a good way, from the bad way, if that makes sense. I very much accepted this as a transitional season, one where we can sort of regrow who we are, and change our expectations a little bit and not get too bogged down in anything that's wrong. Because, look, we're essentially doing, as Millie said, a summer transfer window in January. The club are aggressively serious about fixing things. So even if they haven't solved the problem yet, I just don't see how they aren't going to. It's very obvious that they're aware that there are issues in this team and they're trying to fix them. We're starting the next chapter. So until that story's fully told, I'm not going to sit here and complain too much. I'm quite enjoying it. You know, we might still struggle this season. It might be a little bit more painful, but pain will only make the rebound stronger. Like, if City have a tough end to the season, I guarantee you City will be bringing out the big dogs in the summer transfer window and spending a fair bit. So that's where I'm at. That's where I'm at with City. I sort of relaxed about it, you know. You get someone like Nico Gonzalez, that'd be brilliant. Gonzalez on top of Omar Mamouche, on top of two centre-backs. It's a brilliant window. It truly is, you know. It's young blood that are hungry. The right profile once again. The guys on the cusp that could potentially be superstars one day. You've already got a bit of experience. A few of them have in European football. You know, names that people are very excited by. It's a very good start to what could be a very exciting rebuild. There's absolutely no proof that these players are going to be great. You know, they could flop, but I don't feel it. I feel like, you know, I don't know. The gut tells me that these guys are going to do okay. Yeah, Echeverry is mid-February, by the way. After the tournament, is it the Under-20 World Cup or whatever? I don't know what he's at there. Yeah, top 5 and no fallout from the Chargers would be a great season. Is 5 definitely going to get us Champions League? There's rumours that we could get lucky, by the way. This could be the season where City end up finishing 5th but get Champions League football anyway, which would be a massive fluke given it's our one season where we fall. It also says that Hugo Viana started right now, hasn't he? So Hugo Viana started ages ago, by the way. He absolutely started ages ago, Hugo Viana. Cheeky's been doing the negotiating, but these are his transfers. So yeah, he's been working already. We know this is a fact. So, but he's not been making the phone calls, but he's been, you know, there with the names and all that kind of stuff. He's been getting involved. So yeah, we've got to be realistic about this. So Adrian said his father Frank. We were chatting about this earlier, mates. He used to work for City, played with Cheeky at La Coruña, and with Pep on the national team. Also, he's at Rep. But yeah, I just don't see how this doesn't. Everything's lining up here. It's all lining up to be done, I reckon. He wasn't Beasley, no one surprisingly. He didn't fly to Tast in Manchester just to have a chat about his golf, his handicap. Hello. I think I've got you know what time it is of day? I'm 25 minutes into a video. It's 10 to 8. What that means that I'm going to get a little man about to appear. Well, Daddy's office is broken, Ruben. Ruben's pointing out my office is broken. He's coming upstairs. I can hear him. So yeah, I like this idea. I think we have to be patient about it. I think City are being very serious. I suspect it's going to be fireworks over the next 2 days, which reminds me, Nicola, if you're listening, you being off tomorrow afternoon is a good idea because the transfer window closes very soon. So
Monday afternoon.
It closes on the 3rd. What time does it close, guys? But Nicola's, that's Monday, isn't it? Yeah, it closes on Monday. So you being on the afternoon will be very useful. It's going to be, my mum can cover the morning. I'm thinking out loud here. Sorry, talking to Nicola to make sure I've got actually help. Come here, little man. Oh, yeah. 10 or 11. Okay, the night time. They're very good, Alec. They're right here now. Ruben, come on. Daddy's working. Look at the camera. 11 o'clock at night time. Okay, so I'll be there live. You okay, beautiful? He's tired. Right, guys, I'm going to go put the little guy to bed. I'm going to leave it there, guys. He's knackered and tired. Right, thanks for watching this video. I'm going to get my son to bed. Love you all loads. In a bit, let me know what you make of this potential signing. For now, in a bit, bye-bye.